And welcome to the Geeks Attic. Here we are live on Tuesday. A weird day to be live for me. It's 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Guys, The Empire Strikes Back from a Certain Point of View excerpts dropped today on Twitter from Del Rey, the publisher. It's a celebration of The Empire Strikes Back. I guess it's the 40th anniversary, so they're going to do exactly what they did with Star Wars A New Hope and release, from a certain point of view, 40 stories by 40 different authors. Personally, I was not a fan of the first book from A New Hope. Thought it was kind of dull. Some of the stories were very strange and weird. I wasn't a big fan of it. But this one is going to be, guess, the same. It's going to be a little bit more edgy, I guess you could say, because I got some people here in the comments already. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great night. First comment that nailed it right off the bat. This is the book that one of the editors subtitled Gay and in Space. So right there you got my negative reaction for this book, making me not want to read it. Because, I mean, that's the problem with stories these days, is a lot of them are forgetting what creativity is. You know, it's like, give us good characters, give us good story, give us a good plot. Just give us something great. Don't stand on these stilts of what social media wants you to do. What is this? What is your social agenda for the people of the world? Okay, stop it. People, especially Star Wars fans, yes, there are the people out there that want these weird, strange, sexual, this is the word I'm looking for, all-inclusive type of thing, when there's just no real reason for all of this stuff. Like, so what is this? 40 stories from the Empire Strikes Back, and it's most of 20 of them going to be just nothing but gay characters. It's weird. It's weird to me. Hopefully they don't focus just on that sort of aspect of storytelling, which I'm fearful that that's what they're going to do, rather than focus on good storytelling. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the excerpts that were released. We have 40 of them from all 40 authors. All of them got little special highlights today. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one. Okay. See, I've got my slide over here, so hopefully I can do this right. I've never done the slide thing here before. Now this is pretty long. Okay. Mila slipped her hand into her pocket and rubbed the smooth, rounded surface of a probe droid's main eye. Already kind of sounds a little risque. How many times had she traced these eyes, longing to see what they saw, imagined flinging herself through the reaches of space alongside them to uncover sights untold. And now here she was, as close as she could get, the fates and visions of tens of thousands of probe droids at her fingertips. It was an actual dream come true, for her, at least. This is going to be the story Eyes of the Empire by Kirsten White. So that's going to be the first of 40 stories. So now this is what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to read this and then give my little opinion of what I just read. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of sounded a little odd in the beginning there. Slipped her hand in the pocket and rubbed the smooth, rounded surface of a probe droid's main eye. Okay. Let's move on to the second story here. This is going to be Hunger by Mark Oshiro. Something filled him. He had never sensed this before. There was now a cavern in him, one that ate at his gut. This seemed to grow bigger and bigger with each passing of a sun overhead. He tried to fill it with food, picking off prey here and there. But while his hunger was sated, the other sensation bloomed. He was empty without his clan. He waited. He watched. He despaired. Sorry, reading out loud is not one of my strong points, especially live in front of people. So, yeah, I agree with the comments already. Quality Autism saying is, why does it sound so sexual? It does. Once again, something filled him. He had never sensed this before. There was now a cavern in him. This is weird. Okay, let's move on to number 3. I'm not really looking forward to that story. Obviously, it's going to be about the Wampa there on Hoth. And, of course, the story before that, I'll go ahead and go back. When the probe droids are sent out across the galaxy to find the rebel base. They're going to be found on Hoth. Okay, so here, this is number 3, Ion Control by Emily Skretsky. She prepared relentlessly for these moments, taught herself the process of trigonometry of the cannons targeting sorry, I told you, reading these is not my strong point out loud. Taught herself the process of trigonometry of the cannons targeting in an instant, to boil down the ion blaster's rate of travel and the distance to target into a simple measure of time, to reduce everything to an instant that would allow her to keep her eyes pinned on the orbital charts. This is, like I said, Ion Control by Emily Strutsk. I'm gonna butcher the names for sure of these people, and this is the first time I've read these. By the way, I didn't mention that this is the first time I'm actually reading through these excerpts. Okay, I saw that they were released. I saved them all on my phone and thought, hey, you know what? I'm gonna make a video tonight, and that's what we're doing. My watermelon LaCroix. So here we are with number 4 of 40. A Good Kiss by C.B. Lee. Chase grips his crate tighter and steps right into the scant space between them and ignores the rising argument behind him. You could use a good kiss, Captain Solo bellows. It echoes throughout the corridor. The absolute nerve. Okay, the absolute nerve. What is this guy? Is one of those little like, oh, you shouldn't talk to women that way. That's what that story is going to be about. He's going to be a feminist, right? Chase, that's his name. Chase, the absolute nerve. That's my guess. It's my opinion. I don't have anything else to base the stories off of other than what I'm reading here and from what one of the editors said about this being the book, the subtitle being, or should have been, Gay and in Space. So this is She Will Keep Them Warm by Delilah S. Dawson, which Delilah S. Dawson, she's familiar with the Star Wars canon. Where are we going here? There we are. Sorry about that. Delilah S. Dawson wrote Phasma. She did Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire. Sorry, I turned around and looked at the book there. And she did a couple other things, little short stories and stuff. So this one, She Will Keep Them Warm. Here is an animal... starting this over. Here, she's an animal again. She is herself. She feels the snow underneath her feet and her tail swinging fully in the freezing air. It is exhilarating and right and beautiful. And for just a moment, Mora remembers what it was like, or what it was to be free. This is the Tauntaun's point of view. Wow. I don't remember us going into animal points of view from the first book. I could be wrong. We might have done that, but yeah, that's going to be a weird one. Don't think that's going to be too perverted. Which, by the way, Delilah S. Dawson is known for writing pornography, or what do you call it? Geez, I'm blanking here. She writes dirty books. Anyway, moving on. Heroes of the Rebellion by Amy Ratcliffe. That name sounds familiar. I don't know what she's from. I don't know if she's written other Star Wars books or not. I don't think so. Corey Selgroth imagined herself at home, wrapped in her beloved bantha fur blanket and comfortably reviewing footage for her new recruitment hollows. I'm sorry, guys. I'm butchering this. I kind of need to take a step back, take another swig of this. Start over. Light behind I'm going to blame it on the light behind my camera. It's bright. It's piercing my eyes. Corey Selgroth imagined herself at home, wrapped in her beloved bantha fur blanket and comfortably reviewing footage for new recruitment hollows. Instead, she was still on Hoth. This was not how the trip was supposed to go. Heroes of the Rebellion. See, that one doesn't really sound too interesting to me. Moving on to Rogue 2 from Gary Whitta. Familiar name for Star Wars. Solo's one-man rescue mission may have been foolhardy, but at least he was doing something. All Zev Sinska and the other Rogue Squadron pilots could do was sit and try not to go out of their minds with worry as the hours ticked by, waiting for any news. Okay. Zev. Is Zev the guy from that old Star Wars Rebels show? Am I wrong? Why does Zev sound familiar too for Star Wars? That name, is that another Star Wars character from a TV show or comic book? Because that name sounds familiar and I'm blanking on it. This fumbling over the reading here out loud has got me, fumbling on everything. The next story, Kindle, from Charles Yu. That name does not sound familiar for writing Star Wars. This might be a first-timer. This had to be Lord Vader's way of teaching Ozzel a lesson, and Ozzel was okay with that. Appreciative, even. This was the wake-up call. Surely at any moment now the grip would loosen and he'd slip to the floor, bruised and chastened. Except it didn't. That's right, because he died, right? Let's move on to the next one. That might be an interesting story, a little life flashback scene for the guy. This is Against All Odds, story 9 of 40 by P.R.F. Kang. This isn't a drill. The rebel base at Hoth is under attack. There's a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace to blow them into oblivion, and somehow Dak Ralter feels more alive than he's ever been. Doesn't sound too bad, but we all know how it turns out for Dak, don't we? Jeez. Some of these are probably going to be pretty dark. Moving on to story number 10 of 40, Beyond Hope from Michael Moresi. Crimson particle bolts screamed through the air just over Private Eamon Kreff's head. The enemy fire found its home in the turret at Eamon's back. Shards of metal, charred and scored black, rained down on Eamon's and his squad's heads, reminding them just how feeble they were in the face of the Empire's AT-AT walkers, and the Battle of Hoth had only begun. Well, that sounds like a nice little war story. Now, I know we're getting close to some events that happened in one of Alexander Freed's book, Battlefront. That was an excellent book. We had a Hoth hallway scene with Darth Vader. Wonder if that would be revisited here in this book. I doubt it will, though. This is story 11 out of 40, The Truest Duty by Christy Golden. Speaking of Battlefront, she did Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. So this one says, fear has been beaten out of Veers quite some time ago, and he had no patience for it. It confounded him that others failed to grasp that the secret to promotion, respect, power, and a long life was very clear. Don't fail Vader. Maximilian Veers never had, because who would ever want to fail Lord Vader? And who could live with themselves if they did? Sounds interesting. Yeah, Christy Golden back for Star Wars. I know she's been writing over at Blizzard for World of Warcraft a lot lately. And I think she has a new book for World of Warcraft coming out pretty soon. Like one of those world-building type books, not a novel. Next, by Hank Green, we have A Naturalist on Hoth. Looks like it's going to be another Tauntaun story. This is 12 of 40. I wasn't born to fight. I never ached to feel like a blaster was an extension of my body. The complexity of nature far surpasses the most marvelous of human engineering. An ecosystem leaning on itself into a structure so magnificent that it can never be fully understood is a force so great that it both tears and lifts me. This is the only thing I've ever been able to imagine when I heard stories of the Force. I've never felt it, but I can see all of the folds and crevices where it must hide. A little interesting, maybe. Maybe the truest duty. Nice in the comics there. The next one this is different. This is 13 of 40. The Dragon Snake Saves R2-D2 by Katie Cook. So this looks like it's going to be just a little comic strip situation going on with the monster on Dagobah. Luke lands there. R2-D2 gets sucked under the water. Looks like this is the story. And that thing, according to this picture, looks like it has a thing for R2-D2. A little heart coming away from its head. Like heart, love thoughts for R2. Weird. Here we are with number 14 of 40, For the Last Time, from Beth Revis. Beth Revis has written Star Wars before. What was that book that she did? I think it was a YA novel. Sorry, can't think of it off the top of my head. There were two types of men, just as there were two types of power. The men who had been given their power like a piece of candy to an obedient child, those men thought they were secure, but the men who took their power knew how to make a fist. Okay. Weird. Moving on. When I get to number 20, I'll stop and go back and read some of your comments. Number 15 of 40. Wedge Antilles had always wanted to fly. Rendezvous Point from Jason Fry. Now, I saw another tweet from Del Rey saying that this is actually going to be the longest story in The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. Moving to 16 of 40. This is The Final Order from Seth Dickinson. They stood side by side, hands clasped at their backs, before the incredible panorama of Ultimatum's bridge. Ahead, the endless chaotic detonation, the swarming scatter of the Hoth system's fragmentation cascade asteroid field. They had sent fighters in after an escaping rebel ship. None had returned. That might be an okay story, I guess. Maybe. None of these are really catching my attention, really, the wrong way. Number 17 of 40. Now, Amara Kell's Rules for the TIE Pilot Survival, probably, from Django Wexler. Rule number 1, don't get attacked. Not attached. Already messing this one up. Rule number 1, don't get attached. Not to anything, not to anyone. Don't get attached to your fighter. I know some pilots get cute, tuning the tolerances and controls. Then they get killed when the precious machine is in maintenance during a combat scramble, and they're not used to stock. TIEs are meant to be mass-produced, disposable, like us. So it's just about the little life of a TIE fighter pilot. Went down again. Oh, hey, Yoda, number 18 of 40, The First Lesson by Jim Zub. Yoda could not remember the last time something had broken his concentration in such a manner. Was it a sign of an inner doubt or an old fear he'd managed to keep hidden within? No. This was an outside presence, a presence he had not felt in many years. Potent and prophetic, foreign yet familiar, a Skywalker. That might be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the Wedge Antilles. I mean, that line though, Wedge Antilles had always wanted to fly. Sounds a little cheesy to me. Reminds me of some stuff I read from Queen's Peril when Anakin's like, I love to fly. I've always loved flying. So tacky. Number 19 of 40. This is Disturbance by Mike Chin. Sheer willpowered Palpatine through as it always did, fending off the determination of someone or something wanting his... Gosh, dang. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to start over here. Again, this one's reading funny to me. Sheer will-powered Palpatine through as it always did, fending off the determination of someone or something wanting to hide this. A secret held so tightly that the very desire to protect it gave itself away, if only for a blink. Much as the Force spoke to the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, it revealed itself to Palpatine here, not by guiding the launch of torpedoes, but with a vision. What Palpatine saw in the Force should have frightened him. That might be pretty interesting as well. And this is number 20 of 40. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to step back and look at the comments real quick, and then we'll move on. This one is This Is No Cave by Catherine M. Valente. It was born on the thin, breathless edge of the galaxy, where light and warmth are legends told to frighten children. Space is so much quieter out there, safer. There are stretches of dark on the rim where even something as vast and vulnerable as its father and mother could pass unnoticed. This is going to be about that giant creature that lives in a meteor. So we're going to stop there. Let's go over here and look at your comments real quick, okay? Let's scroll up to the top. We got some stuff here. We got Michael Bray. May the Force be with you. We got Rob D in there. Quality Autism. Jeffrey. How you going? How's it going, Mad Machad? Small time. Then, like Quality Autism mentioned, yes, we talked about this as the Gay and in Space subtitle for this book, which is irritating for me. David Albee says, wasn't a fan of most of the first one. Neither was I. Small Time sounds like Zero the Hutt needs to be in it. Yeah, maybe he will be. Quality Autism, turns out Yoda was gay all along. Okay, Rob D, I hope there's a short story about a rebel soldier defending Echo Base from a bunch of Wampas. There were supposed to be scenes of Wampas attacking the base. Yep. Small Time, I don't know. Yoda may have been knocking the boots with Yaddle. Yeah, maybe he's going to be reminiscing about the child. It's like, where did that Mandalorian take my child? Quality Autism, why does all of this sound sexual? Yeah, a lot of it did in the beginning. Very, very odd stories, says Michael Bray. Han is the ultimate mansplainer. Quality Autism, there are not enough characters in episode 5, so they have to write the animals. David Albee, we did have animals in A New Hope. Okay. Rob D, I understand Star Wars doesn't have really any notable short stories, but these just sound terrible. Yeah, and Quality Autism speaking on what's her name? Delilah S. Dawson, romance novels. Yeah, I was thinking erotica is the term I was looking for in my head. Rob D, he's talking to Quality Autism, so they could write short stories about background characters. Was it ever explained how K-3PO died? I don't know about that one. And Quality Autism laughing at the mustache on the artwork over here. Rob D, hey, Imperial Fleet, get ready to suck some DAC. Star Destroyer blast. Yeah, we're talking about Christy Golden, still writing for Star Wars. Yeah, she's dabbling in that a little bit. Small Time says, this book may be the truest duty. Big pile of it. Rob D, there should be a secret 41st story on Dash Rendar. That'd be neat, like behind the dust jacket flap. Maybe they could sneak that in there. Okay, see what else you guys got. A comic and a short story collection. Yep, that's going to be a little odd. I wonder how many pages that's. Probably like a 4-page thing. We've got Rebel Rising. Beth Revis, that's right. We got the Swamp Monster has a Swamp Monster thing. That Swamp Monster thing on Dagobah was gay for R2. Yeah, it's probably what it will be. She did Rebel Rising. Yes, we already talked about that. Okay. Oh no, poor Wedge. At least Jason Fry is a good author. Yeah, I know he does a lot of the comic book stuff. So we have called the story is about Yoda wanted to train Leia and didn't want Luke. Yeah, I remember that with the first book. Very interesting take on that. I mean, I guess that's why he says, "Hey, there is another." They fly now. Yeah, pretty cheesy, isn't it? Call caught up there in the comments. So let's go on to number 21 of 40. This is Lord Vader Will See You Now by John Jackson Miller. It's nice to have him back. He did a good short story in the first one. He also did Kenobi in the Legends canon. Great stuff. So let's go ahead and read this one. Lord Vader Will See You Now by John Jackson Miller. Orders. You're here because you've ignored orders. Piet's whisper grew louder. Lord Vader is not interested in your excuses or apologies, and neither am I. Ray Sloane steeled herself. I make no excuses, and I never apologize. About time we see some more Ray Sloane. Really happy about that. Moving on to the next one. Number 22 of 40. This is Vergence by Tracy Dion. There have been many of them. So many, the number is not worth counting. This I know. What I did not know, even after a millennium of their minds and mine and theirs, is why they approached me with thoughts of light and dark. These words were never enough. Why did they matter? Here? What? Here, there are the deep greens of moss, the silken silver of slow mist, the dim blue of steam rising through the ever twilight. Inside me are the twisting gray shadows of desire and the bright flare crimson of wrath. That one reads weird. I don't like that. I don't think I like that one. Moving on to the next one. This is Tooth and Claw by Michael Cog, or Kogue. Boss scraped his tongue across his teeth, tasting blood. His trap had worked. Okay. Well, a little bit of a Bosk here on this one. Moving on to the next one. Oh, number 2440. This one's got a lot of little subtitles down here. Steet by Daniel Jose Older. He did the Star Wars book with Han and Lando. Last Shot. I was not a fan of that book. Did not like that author. He is irritating on Twitter as well. Two highly respectable gentlemen of unimpeachable character ask for your money for a vague but unquestionably good cause by Parquezine Parpa of the Parpa Cartel. Asterisk TK7 Hi Parzine might be me, but this headline seems a tad sarcastic. Maybe if we take out the quotes, it'll come across as more genuine. Thanks. Okay, moving on. This is number 25 of 40. Wait for It by Zorda Cordova. Zordaya Cordova. She did a Galaxy's Edge book, I believe. YA novel. Now, the galaxy was lousy with idiots, but where there was an idiot, there was a case of credits Fett could collect. Okay. Number 26 of 40. Standard Imperial Procedure by Sarwat Chada. The fire spray belonged to one of the bounty hunters, a guy called Boba Fett. Strange name. Where was he from? Probably some blaster slinger from the Outer Rim. Just this side of the law. Was this what the Imperial Navy had been reduced to? Hiring the dregs of the galaxy? Okay. So some of these just seem kind of funny to me. And I'm sorry. I apparently did not bring this back out for you guys to see. Yeah. I'll go back up to 20 just so you can see the art here. 21. Got Sloan on there. Number 22. Bosk story. The number 23 of 40. There's that 24 of 40 with Daniel Jose Older. Ugh, that was pretty bad. Boba Fett, 25 of 40. And the fire spray. I don't remember anything being called the fire spray. What happened to Slave 1? Here we are with number 27 of 40. There is Always Another by Mackenzie Lee. I had hoped that dying would be enough to untangle me from the Skywalker family's issues. And yet here I am again, Obi-Wan Kenobi, one with the Force, and still the only thing standing between a Skywalker and an impulse decision that could have galactic consequences. So this kind of sounds like Kenobi's not happy with the Skywalkers and just kind of over them. Interesting. All right, here we go. I could already see what this one's going to be about. Fake It Till You Make It by Cavan Scott. That image looks pretty familiar for the EU fans. This is number 28 of 40. I'm sorry, Lobot said, narrowing his light blue eyes. Have we met? That took the wind out of his sails. Have we met? Are you kidding me? The Age shook his head. I assure you that I am not. Unbelievable. After everything they'd been through together over the years, Lobot, it's me, Jackson. Jackson the Rabbit. Huh. All right. Moving on to number 29 of 40. Wait. Darth Vader is your guest. I'm sorry. I did that wrong. This is number 29 of 40. But what does he eat? By S.A. Chakraborty. Wait. Darth Vader is your guest? That's who you want me to cook for? That's who I want you to cook for, Lando said. Okay. What would Vader eat? This is number 30 of 40. Beyond the Clouds, Lilium Rivera. My heart races. There's one bounty hunter I've been obsessively studying for the past couple of years. He was raised on Camino and trained by Aura Singh. He wears customized Mandalorian armor. Now, that's true style, and here he is. Okay. Before we get to number 31, let's just see what you guys are talking about. So we've got, look over here at what you guys are saying now. Ray Sloan for the win. Yep, I'm happy about that. T-Motors too. T-Motors 22. Hey, just popping in to say hi. Nice. Hello. Rob D, the absolute weirdest animal story this could have is a short story from the perspective of a space slug. Yes, that probably does take the taco. So yeah, sorry I didn't have these things up on the screen. David Albee, not a fan of Daniel Jose Older's books. Yeah, me neither. We've got Wait For It, a Barney Stinson Star Wars story. Rob D, quality autism is okay. And that makes me want to hear stories about a new bounty hunter that did not get selected by the Empire to hunt the Millennium Falcon. Small time, are we allowed to call it Slave One? That is not very woke. Fire Spray, which is in that Boba Fett story. Fire Spray is the ship model. The ship itself is called Slave One. Okay, it makes sense. And Rob D, Jackson the Rabbit? Yep, that's what it looks like. You get the silhouette there, his image, rabbit. Quality Autism Legends was stupid. Had a green talking rabbit. So let's bring it into canon, right? Yeah, David, I'll be intrigued by the Jackson story. Small time, I would put some sand in Vader's sandwich. Ooh, that's smart. Rob D, he's talking to Quality, he says, those worst things about the EU lists are getting smaller and smaller. All right, let's go back to number 31. No Time for Poetry by Austin Walker. Can you believe they pay us for this? It wasn't the excitement in Dengar's voice that surprised IG-88, who stood next to the Corellian bounty hunter as he piloted his way through wreckage and debris. As the galaxy's deadliest assassin droid, IG-88 had crossed paths with plenty over exuberant bounty hunters, the sort who convinced themselves that obsessive thrill-seeking was a vocation. Dengar yanked back the yoke of the Jumpmaster 5000 as it dodged incoming Beatrice. That's a word I'm not really familiar with. Was just one more fool with a blaster. That's number 3140. No Time for Poetry. There's gonna be like a strange little duo with them. It'll be interesting. IG-88 and what is his name? Dengar. This next one, 32 of 40. Bespin Escape by Martha Wells. Looks like it's going to be about Ugnaughts. Out on the walkway, the small messenger droid raced away. Still blaring the evacuation alert, the message echoed down all 4 levels of Cloud City's Ugnaught town, where the inhabitants crowded out onto the walkways and platforms, frantic and confused, their worried voices adding to the din. So, okay. Number 33 of 40, Faith in an Old Friend by Brittany N. Williams. L337 would have struggled here if it had been the old days, the days before she'd been uploaded to the Falcon and had become one of the 3 droid brains that made up the ship's computer. She'd built herself such good shoulders, too. Great. L3's back. Moving on. Oh, I can tell by that ice cream machine right there in the photo what we're getting here. This is Dew on Batuu by Rob Hart. When Wilro Hood came alongside the trio, he yanked the Kamatono away from her, feeling a flood of relief having his hands on the metal container again. He nodded to the troopers. She's Rebel Alliance, and she stole my property. I'm taking it back. Interesting. Here, this is going to be one about Leia. Number 35 of 40. This is Into the Clouds by Karen Strong. Jalen stared at her reflection. Her hair was done up in the Bespin style, looped braids draping her shoulders. She was a lady of means, daughter of the Tiabana gas tycoon, a Cloud City socialite. The frivolous clothing should have made her happy. In the past, glamorous garments had been her soothing balm, a second skin in gauzy disguise, a reprieve to shed the understated attire required of her position. She twirled again, but it didn't make her feel any better. More than anything, she yearned to be someone else. Maybe today she could be a pretend to be a rebel princess. She could be a pretend to be a rebel princess. A typo right there in the excerpt. Interesting, and apparently that's not Leia. So, moving on, 36 to 40. This is The Witness from Adam Christopher. Adam Christopher is going to be doing the Mandalorian novel coming next November, I believe. I could be wrong about the date, but I know it was supposed to come out this year, then they pushed it back a full year. So I'm looking forward to that. I know he writes pretty good because I read his Stranger Things novel. So, number 36 of 40, enough. It was that simple, really. Dina Lorne, TK27342, she'd had enough. Pretty short. Dina Lorne. Is that sounds familiar? Lorne, is that a Star Wars character established already somewhere? Number 37 of 40. The Man Who Built Cloud City by Alexander Freed. All right. He's one of my favorites out there right now. Our tale begins with one word repeated twice by a very lonely man. Treachery. Treachery. The crier stood upon a marble bench, hunched like a gargoyle to brace against the wind whipping him onto his heels. I'm looking forward to Alexander Freed's story. This one is number 38 of 40, the backup plan. So plan C by Annie Toole. So the backup plan, Annie Toole. Tal didn't dare breathe a sigh of relief. Lando's decision to liberate the princess hadn't included the Imperials capturing their people. She needed information, she needed help, and most of all, she needed a plan. See, that one was a lot easier to read because it's big text and it's spread out some. So, moving on, it just doesn't really spark my interest. Some of these things just sound so dull and boring. I'm like, ugh, I'm over it. Number 39 of 40, right-hand man. Get it? Lydia Kang. Really? You ought to stop getting into so many life-threatening situations, Luke. You're becoming my most frequently returning patient. One day you might return to me beyond repair, and I should not like that. Medical droid story is going to be the one of the last stories we get from a certain point of view. And this one, okay, number 40 of 40, The Wills Strike Back from Tom Engelberger. May the force be with me as I prepare to inscribe another entry in the immortal journal of the Wills. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, well, actually, what does that mean? What does that mean? Interesting. And then to wrap this up, we've got featuring illustrations by Chris Trevis. It's on sale November 10th. That is the Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view read-through of the excerpts. Still, nothing's really wanting me to just, I have to read it. I mean, the Yoda story sounds interesting. You know, I'll read Alexander Freed, Christopher Adam. I'll read that. What else was there that sounded familiar? Jason Fry's Wedge Antilles story. Oh, and we have John Jackson Miller, who I'll be looking forward to that one. The other stuff, I don't know, guys. Let's go over here to the section once again to see what you guys are saying before we sign out here. David Halby is intrigued by the Jackson story. Okay, well, we read that one. We got that because we also had the Vader sandwich here. Rob D, worst things about the EU getting smaller and smaller. Michael, I'm looking forward to the Obi-Wan and Yoda stories. Yeah. Quality Autism, he's talking to Rob D. He says, now the people who write just become more hypocritical. That's true. These authors do. They get outspoken on social media, and sometimes I think they just need to stop. Just go write a story and focus on story points rather than character, social, we need to be inclusive on everything rather than making sure that it's a good story. Stupid. Publishers, get on your writers and tell them to write good stories. Quality says, Martha Well, author of the Legends book Razor's Edge. I don't know. Could be. That was one of the last expanded universe novels, wasn't it? Before it sold, turned over to Disney. Quality Autism says L3, disgusting. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. L3. Small Times LS37 was so sassy. David Albee, I'm down for more L3 content. Everybody, there's something for everyone at Star Wars. L337, said Small Time. Rob D, why is there a picture of a sippy cup? Picture of a sippy cup? You talking about the ice cream machine for that Wilrow hood? They used an a homemade ice cream machine. David Albee says, and more Batu. Yep, got to keep that consistent in everything moving forward. Karen Strong, what an unfortunate name. Current times, and yeah, the Karen. Small time, there are all kinds of jokes about Lando and L3 that I really shouldn't make. Some involve WD-40. I get you. David Albee says, freed for the win. Yep. Rob D. So, Matthew, what do you think? How many stories sound interesting to you? I'd say probably about 4. Maybe I'll just bring this thing up here again when I get down to the bottom of these comments and go through the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. I won't do that. I'll go over here, and we shall go to the very top and do a quick once-over. I should remember these by the photos of what the story is going to be about, of course. Always helpful to have little photos, right? So we got from the beginning. This is story number 1. Small Time says, maybe the well actually meant it was not so long ago and not so far away. That's going to suck if they do something like that. Like, oh, it's actually over there behind Jupiter. Calling out as well, actually, it wasn't a long time ago and not really far, far away. Yeah. David Albee, I've already had the book pre-ordered on Audible, so I'll give it a go. Okay. Nice. Rob D, I wonder if I haven't looked into the audiobook details. I wonder if it's Mark Thompson or is it just going to be different readers? Is it multiple readers on this one? Rob D, it wasn't a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It was yesterday and down the street. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over here and see the ones that I'm interested in. I'll just say yes or no. I won't do the, well, maybe. So this first one, no. No. Nope. 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 No. Nope. Nope. So far, we've made it to story number 10. Still not interested. Number 11. No. Well, it's Christy Golden. Yes. 12, no. 13, nope. 14, nope. Number 15, yes. No, yes. So story number 18 with about Yoda. Palpatine. Yeah. So that's 4. Let's go to number 20. The Space Slug. No. So Ray Sloan by John Jackson Miller. Yes. So this is number 5. So far we've got 5 out of 21. No. Nope. Daniel holds the older. Definitely not. Nope. No. Jackson. No. Yes. 6. That 6 was number 6 for me was Adam Christopher's story. Just, what is it? Number 7 from Alexander Freed. No. So 7 stories here. I'm interested in 7 out of 40. So that's my opinion. That was the read through. That was the opinion. It's 97% nope, says Rob D. And David says it's multiple readers, the authors, it seems, reading them. Oh, well, that'll be interesting. So, guys, that's going to do it for this Tuesday night. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Had fun doing this little read through. Neat that they released it today. And remember, it comes out November 10th if you're interested. So, guys, thanks for joining. Okay, Rob D says he gave me the numbers here. 7 of 40 equals 17.5%. Okay, thank you, Rob D. I'm going to have to screen capture that. Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a great night. I will see you guys on Thursday night where I might do the Marvel watch along. We got Captain America, the First Avenger that I need to catch up on. So, guys, have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.